So for a long time, hustle culture really felt like the wave. It felt like this is the right thing to be doing, stay up later, work harder, make sacrifices. But if you realize the results of most people, they all felt burnout. They felt like nothing is really happening. They felt like they're not making the progress that they wanted to see. Their relationships were suffering, their health was suffering, and a lot of things were just not working out in their favor. What I've realized after subscribing to this hustle culture myself was that the way that I was approaching work was the problem. It wasn't that I was working hard, it was that I wasn't approaching work with the right mentality. And as I get this video started, I just wanted to say thanks for watching. This is a relatively new channel. As you can see, I have a relatively new setup behind me. And I would really love to share this with more people. If you could hit the like and subscribe button, that would mean the world to me. And if you don't mind, go ahead and drop a comment as well. Tell me where you're watching from. I would really appreciate that. Let's be real. Hustle culture's main goal is freedom. But really, it just feels like this weight that's attached to you that you have to work harder in order to see the results you want. And that's no way to live. I want to set something straight. Effort does not equal outcome. Being busy does not mean you're productive. Putting in more hours does not mean you're going to get further in life. That is just a lie that people have subscribed to for a while now. And it's so important that we address it because there's so many tasks that you can do in the entrepreneur world that you feel like you're getting things done, but in reality, you're just spinning your wheels. And that's okay for a little while. I think there's a time and place to be in this busy season, but you have to realize there is a different way to work. What if I told you that there's a way to work where you feel rested, recovered, you enjoy your life, and there's not this sense of being burnt out all the time? I'm here to tell you that there is a way, and it's called making space for that. You have to make space for yourself. Otherwise, you're going to feel burnt out and confused all the time. At some point, I had to even stop and ask myself, is what I'm doing actually getting me further to my goal, or do I feel like I'm not even getting closer? How does my body feel? Does my body feel better by doing all this work and subscribing to hustle culture? How are my relationships looking? How are my finances actually looking? I think it's so important to just slow down and realize that when you continue to do things out of your own strength, you're only going to feel more burnout and cooked at the end of the day, all right? This is honestly where I feel like people get the term cooked, is from just this idea of hustle and grind harder and go harder and get a six-pack abs and be like Andy Elliott and Grant Cardone and all these crazy guru guys. And it's just not sustainable. Let's be real. It's not how the majority of people's brains and their ideologies actually operate. And trying to duplicate what you see online is honestly just a waste of time. Everyone's perfect image of this hustle culture and grind harder and get more done and a Gary Vaynerchuk, it's just not real. Like, those are highlight reels to get you motivated so that maybe you'll buy their course or buy their product or their sales training or whatever it is. But the majority of people cannot operate that way, okay? And it's okay to admit that you can't sustain yourself living in hustle culture. I know I can't. If we take a second to look at the Bible and all the stories that have played out in the Bible, there have been so many moments where things have just slowed down. If you look at the story of Lazarus, and when Lazarus was sick and he was getting ready to die, and Jesus was notified of that, Jesus didn't immediately just run and heal Lazarus. Could he have done so? Yeah, I think he could have. He healed many people in the Bible, but he decided to slow down and just wait because he knew that he was going to receive the max glory by raising Lazarus from the dead. Think about that in our own lives. If we don't take a second to just slow down and smell the roses and enjoy our lives or reevaluate where we are, how are we ever going to reach that point where we can say, yes, this is a successful, abundant life? We're never going to get to that point because we can't just stop and evaluate. We can't just stop and just be grateful for where we're at right now. Think about the in the beginning stories. When God created the heavens and the earth, he took a day of rest when he was done with it all. He took a day and a moment of reflection on what he had created. Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we just sit and rest and trust God that He has everything worked out for our good? And it says in Romans 8:28, and we know in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. So knowing that, why can't we just sit and rest and trust God that He's going to work it out? Why not just take a new approach? Why not just slow down, realize that it's all going to work out, realize that God is in control, and if you miss a couple of phone calls because you're taking care of your health or you're spending more time with your family, don't you think God is going to honor that? Don't you think God is going to honor the fact that you're putting time elsewhere outside of self? Isn't that just the problem these days? Like, we're so caught up with self that we don't have time just to think about all the other things in life, the things that we should really be paying attention to and what we should be grateful for. Understand too that there is a difference between being busy and being aligned. When you are aligned, there is a certain sense of grace that God has on your life to be able to just slow down. If God has called you to a specific assignment or a specific purpose or business, don't you think it's in His interest that He wants to see those things come to fruition as well? God has a vested interest in you becoming successful. So if you just slow down and understand that God is on your side through this process, you don't have to live from this place of hustle culture and I got to get it right all the time and I got to wake up at 4 a.m. and grind, grind, grind and go hard. You don't have to do that. It's okay just to slow down and work from the overflow. Like, work from the energy that God has given you. I also see all these guys online that are taking testosterone and steroids and they're hyped up on caffeine all the time. Your body was not really designed to take all of those things. I mean, I can understand if your testosterone is actually low and you need to have it addressed, but there's a lot of guys that are on these different performance enhancers that really don't even need them. They're just doing it because they're subscribed to this hustle culture and it's burning them out and they don't have any other way of compensating other than taking these performance enhancers. So honestly, hustle culture really needs to die, especially in 2026 when we live in a day and age of AI and automation and things working in the background with computers where you don't really need to just work your tail off. I want to leave you guys with something as I get ready to close this video, and it's that peace is not earned. It is something that is given from God, and you don't have to get to a certain level of success to feel peace. There's plenty of people out there that have reached a point of millions and millions of dollars and they have all the material things in the world, but they still have no peace in their lives. In Mark 8:36, it says, "For what shall it profit a man if he shall gain the whole world and lose his own soul? For a man to lose his own sense of himself just by chasing the worldly things that are out there. What is the point? I mean, really, what is the point? There is no point to burning yourself out and losing your soul over chasing this worldly desire of ambition and hustle and I got to get it done right now. Like, that whole mentality is just cooked. It's dead. It's 2026, guys. We need to wake up and realize self-care is the most important thing. Your family is the most important thing. Your relationship with God is the most important thing. So one more time as I bring it full circle, hustle culture in 2026 needs to die if it hasn't died already. I know I'm checking out of the hustle culture life. I'm going to be taking care of my body. I'm going to be taking care of my family, my friends, my relationship with God. Those are the most important things. And working hard outside of that is just a bonus. Working hard and achieving things in life is just a bonus to my life. That's the right way to live. Let's not forget about the people in the third world countries that literally have nothing to their name, but they seem to be the most peaceful, the most grateful, the most happy people on the entire planet. Maybe we should learn something from them. But that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. This is your favorite man of God, Robert Harold. Hit the like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you in the next video.